A pleasant day, competitive grade 10 students. Welcome to our new journey in learning the English language. Before anything else, a big congratulations once again for accomplishing our previous lessons. Together, let us acquire a new knowledge in English. Our new topic is about evaluating and making judgment. For this time, you are not going to finish your activities in 1 week or in only 1 week. You are given 2 weeks to finish all your activities for this lesson. You may start working your activities from November 9 to November 20. Here are the reminders. Write your answers on your answer sheet. Don't forget to write your name on your answer sheet. Always visit your FB group to check on announcements. Don't hesitate to post your questions in the FB group or simply chat your subject teacher. Here are the objectives of this lesson. Establish a sense of objectivity and evaluating a picture, text, and/or performance using a set of criteria. Evaluate the poem Ballad of the Mother's Heart by Jose La Villa Tierra. Compare and contrast words or opinions of others. Before we start, let us first have a game. We will be doing Picks to Word equation. Are you familiar with this game? What you have to do is to simply identify what ideas or concepts are described by the given pictures. Each picture represents a syllable from the word you have to identify. The boxes under the pictures serve as clue on how many letters the idea or concept has or have. You have 5 seconds to answer each equation. Are you ready? Let's get started. Set number 1. We have here a picture or a photo of the judge chewing gum. Then we also have a peppermint or the leaves of the mint. What do you think is the idea or the word described by these pictures? Time's up. What do you think is the answer? Well, the answer is judgment. Next question, set number 2. We have here a photo of letter F and it's like a windy here on this photo. What do you think is being described by these photos? Time's up. What do you think is the answer? The answer is fair. Are you enjoying this game? Let's continue. Set number 3. We have hands and then ing symbol. It is a symbol of the bank and plus letter S. What do you think is the idea described by these pictures? Time's up. What do you think is the answer? Let us see. The answer is feelings. Next set. Set number 4. We have here a lady crying, then add it with a cup of tea, and then add it with the word yaw. What do you think is the idea being described by these pictures? This is quite hard, but maybe easy for some of you. Time's up. The answer is, let us see if you get the answer correctly. The answer is criteria. Did you get the correct answer? Last set number 5. We have here, do you know who this woman is? Then we have money, and then we have a boy eating. What do you think is the idea described by these pictures? Time's up. And the answer is evaluate. Were you able to get the correct answer? Good job. Give yourself 5 claps if you got it all correct. So from the activity that we have done, you have identified the words such as judgment, fair, feelings, criteria, and evaluate. Now, what do you think are the relationship of these words in our lesson, which is making judgments or evaluation? Evaluating a text or performance has always been subjective in its very sense. Fairness has always been an issue in terms of giving judgments. Attaching our feelings to the text or performance being judged may affect our way of judging it, and we tend to become biased. To avoid being unfair, setting criteria is a helpful tool as we establish objectivity or fairness. In making judgments, it is necessary that evaluators form the sense of objectivity, because being objective means being fair. Now, we may have different judgments on what is being judged because judgment may differ based on what is being judged. We could have a different judgment for a text or a written composition or any literature or literary pieces. We may have a different judgment on images or pictures or photos. Then we may also have a different judgment on the different media. And then we may have different judgments on different performances. We have a different judgment for a dance performance or a song performance or even for the speeches. We could have different or varied ways on how to judge, evaluate, or assess these words or these ideas. This is why setting a criteria is important. Now, what is criteria? Criteria is a set of standards and or principles considered in judging a particular work, output, or performance. It is a guide or it guides the evaluators on the scope and limitation of what to judge or examine. Setting a criteria will help us and will limit us on what is only to judge and what not to judge because we are guided by the indicators that are provided inside the criteria. The criteria may vary depending on what is to be judged or evaluated. We cannot use the same criteria to judge everything. Now let us focus our discussion with the common indicators in evaluating a text. First one is content. It refers to the idea, concept, focus, or details of the subject matter as discussed in the text. In evaluating the content, we have to ask ourselves how well the content meet the evaluator's goal. So we are assessing the effectiveness of the text. Effective in the sense that uh, is the text successful in giving the idea or the theme of the topic being discussed? Were it able to effectively express the ideas related to the topic or to the theme? Next is cohesion. It refers to the connection and organization of words, phrases, ideas, and concepts presented in the text. Cohesion means flow. So this is how well your ideas follow from one to the next with seamless and logical transition. So we are focusing with the flow of your text if we are going to evaluate the cohesion. So you have to ask yourself, are your ideas presented in each sentence connected to one another? Is your first sentence connected to the second sentence and to the following sentences? Cohesion can be done smoothly by using connecting words and referencing words. So what are connecting words and referencing words? Referencing words refer to pronouns such as the words these, it, and others. Then the other way to connect ideas is through the use of the linking words such as the words like however, on the other hand, for example, therefore, and any other linking words. But we have to remember that we should not overuse these words, or we should not overuse referencing words or linking words. We can only limit ourselves of using these words into two words because two words are enough in one paragraph because it will overusing the use of linking words and referencing words will lessen the effectivity and the cohesiveness or the connection, the flow of your text or of your ideas inside the text. Next is grammar. Grammar, as we all know, is very controversial in any form of written composition and even oral presentations. It deals with the fluency and accuracy in terms of language, structure, and facility. So, in judging grammar, we have to ask ourselves, does the text have the mastery of the rules in language usage? Or were you able to follow the rules and the technicalities of grammar as you are writing your text? Or does the text show a clear understanding on how terms are used in the content? So those are the questions that we have to ask as we assess the grammar of a text. Next is mechanics. It refers to accuracy in punctuations and capitalization. So are we all familiar enough with the usage of the different punctuation marks such as the period, the commas, the question marks, and are we good enough with the capitalization? You have to ask yourselves with those questions as you are assessing or evaluating a text. Or does the text use proper punctuation marks to end a sentence or to express pauses? Are you going to put a period if you are asking? Are you going to put a comma if you are ending a sentence already? Are those correct? So you have to consider the usage of the punctuation marks and capitalization in assessing a text. Next is word choice. It deals with appropriateness of words, especially in terms of depth and level of formality. So, in this part, we have to consider the complexity of your or of the text or the level of the formality of the text. Ask ourselves, do the words used in the text relevant to the theme? Or are you just, if you are sending a letter to your best friend, it is okay to write or to use words that are quite vulgar or the words that are frequently used by the two of you. But if you are going to write a letter to somebody who is on a higher position than you, or somebody whom you are not very close with, we have to use words that are appropriate because we should avoid to offend or we should avoid offending others by the use of our words or by our word choice. Then, does the text suit the formality of the occasion? We have to consider the formality of what you are writing. If you are writing a research paper, of course, we have to use words that are related to the field of research. We should never use words that are quite vulgar or words that are informal. And last is tone. It refers to the emotion or feelings attached as expressed by the text. Ask ourselves, does the text deliver appropriate emotion? Does it connect to the topic or the theme, the emotions that had been expressed inside the text? So we are going to focus with what kind of feeling the text is trying to express. Does it give the appropriate feeling? Does the text express or trying to express an emotion, a happy emotion, but you felt instead of being happy, you felt being sad? Now, is it appropriate? Are you going to give a good grade or a good rate with this text if gives the opposite emotions? Of course, we have to consider the if it gives the appropriate emotion. We have to remember that setting criteria is helpful to avoid bias or being unfair in judging or evaluating a text and even performances. Though there are a lot of things to consider in judging a text, those six that we have discussed are the most common indicators used in evaluating a text. That is all for today. Hope you've enjoyed our lesson. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Until our next journey to learning the English language.